Like golf, financial planning is a series of decisions based on shots, holes, and the current conditions. Golf is just like financial planning that we tend to compare our golf score with that of our friends and the people that we're playing with. People do the same thing in a world of finances. What we all have to recognize is that we live in a world where our ability and our skill set is limited today by the options that we have available today in terms of income, the amount of money we can save, the tax code, our age, and many other factors. Right? But they're choices and decisions that we can make, and our abilities can improve, just like my golf game. Hope you're having a great day. And yes, I'm in golf attire. It is golf season. It is my favorite sport. I love golf and I love scuba. Both of them are wonderful joys to me, and they have great similarities in terms of what happens in the world of financial planning. So one of the things I like to tell people about financial planning is that it is a lot like the Cheesecake Factory menu. And people go, what? How in the world do you come up with this? Well, it is real simple. There are things that are black and white in financial planning. Most of those are provided by the IRS. You can or you can't, right? Black and white. The Cheesecake Factory menu is anything but black and white. Ladies and gentlemen, it has 250 different choices that you can make on that menu, and it is just phenomenal. When the waiter comes up, everything is good because you've got this encyclopedia of food in front of you, and all of those choices are there, and people love choices. The problem is you now have to make a decision. And what I've learned in 35 years is that people hate decisions. And so many times we relegate ourselves to what is the simplest or easiest. We'll go to the same thing that we ordered last time. Or in financial planning, we'll go to mutual funds or annuities just because we've heard other people talk about them. We don't understand how it applies to our unique circumstance and situation, especially when it applies to taxes. And we simply capitulate, if you will. As opposed to having to deal with a tough decision, we'll go to what sounds familiar. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the interesting thing between my golf game and your retirement plan. You only get one shot at retirement. Unless, of course, you really want to go back to work and hang out with some of the people that are working on Saturday mornings, unless you want that life. And some people do. We call it your life after work for a reason. There are people who go and do things that they've always enjoyed doing that they didn't get to do as an occupation during their working years. I get that. But it is a lot like a one-hit wonder. You get one opportunity to get your retirement right. And many times you're not going to know for 20 or 25 or 30 years whether you made the right decision. Golf, on the other hand, is beautiful. That club gives me about instant gratification or frustration, one or the other. I get to see where the ball went. I get to see where it landed. Now, if you're watching on TV, or if you play golf and you're just an amateur, when you see where that ball lands, you may think, wow, that was a great shot. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. Because unless it was in the hole, there are more shots to come. And as you learn about golf, you will find that there are more and more conversations that you have, more and more decisions that you have to make. As you look at golf, as you go through the game, what you will find is what appeared to be a simple decision, do I use a driver, or do I use a mid-iron, or do I use a putter, can become a whole lot more complex with shaft lean and everything else. So when you started your financial plan, when the Cheesecake Factory menu was compressed, if you will, you didn't have a lot of choices. You looked at your spouse and you said, honey, I think we can save, $100 a week, and that's as much as we can possibly take out of the budget today. The $100 a week translates to a certain percentage of your income. You went to your employer and go, hey, do y'all have a 401k? And they said yes or no. If they said yes, then you put it in the 401k. That may have been the only option that you knew that you could make. You put it in the 401k, they took it out of your paycheck, and you went about your business. It was a single decision. You walked up to the ball, you asked a question, you took a swing, and you made the shot. Now, if you want to get more precise to use an 8 iron or a 7 iron, the next question was, do you have a Roth option available at the 401k? And the Roth option means that you're able to put the money in, and it's now you're going to pay taxes on it today, but it's tax-free in the future. And you may find, especially if you're younger, you're at a much lower tax rate today than you probably will be in the future when you expect to have a brighter tomorrow, future job growth, career growth, if you will. And don't forget the powers of inflation. You'll just have to make more money to be able to maintain your standard of living. That's when you really get into the nuances of what club it is that you really want to use. Those choices and options, those decisions you have really can become more complex, if you will, as you grow. Now, don't fret. For some of you, this is fun. If golf for me is fun, it can be agitating when you have a bad round, but it is still fun for me. But the good news is I know when I do it, if I don't like what happened on this hole, I have 17 more to go. If I didn't like happened this round, I get to play again next weekend. And it's not life or death. It is a game. But for many of us with retirement, we really only get one shot at it. And I won't call it life and death. Life's not just about money. But it really does change a lot of people's psyche and everything else. What I want to do and what we try to do at the Financial Enhancement Group is to help you reduce financial regrets. We want to make sure that with those decisions and those choices, the 250 things on the menu that you have at the Cheesecake Factory, the 250 decisions and choices that you have the opportunity to be able to make, that we're taking in your total situation, the total aspect of what's going on, to use the golf analogy, looking at the entire hole. We don't want to know just what shot we want to make on this shot. We want to know where we want the ball to land for the next shot. And that's really what we're trying to do as we talk to you about your financial journey in terms of where you're going on. So take away from this that golf is a game, retirement is not. Take away from this that you're going to have many decisions and many choices on a golf course, and the better your decision making is, the better your golf score is going to be. Yes, you can improve your abilities, but the better your decision making process in terms of which club to use and where to hit the ball, trust me, the better your score will be. The same is true in retirement planning. And you hear me talk about a few of my favorite podcast people, Andy Stanley. In this case, it's Patrick Lencioni, who at the table brought up the saint patron of ignorance. Now, I don't really like the word ignorant. I don't want people to feel like they're stupid, and that's not what ignorance means. It's simply unawareness, if you look at Patrick's definition of what it is, that they didn't know, right? Well, if you don't know about shaft lean in a golf club, you won't know that controls the trajectory of the ball when the club goes into it. You won't know. Right? And so you don't pay attention. When you walk in to put money into a 401k, you think you're doing the right thing. But what if your tax rate's the lowest it's ever going to be, and you're not asking if they have a Roth option? What percentage should be going into a Roth? Here's the deal. You can look at the Financial Enhancement Group as a caddy if you want to. We really are collaborators. We collaborate with your CPA. We collaborate with your attorney. We collaborate with each other. And we collaborate with you. Now, what in the world does collaboration mean anyhow? Well, to me, cooperation is, Jeff, go do this. And Jeff goes and does that. Cooperation, or collaboration rather, is when I say, hey, Jeff, what do you think about this? And that's us talking to your CPA. It's us talking to you, figuring out what's going. See, the world of golf, the Cheesecake Factory, did not change when I walk on a golf course. I can walk up to a golf ball, look at where I want to go or where it needs to go next, and I may be able to use 5 of the 14 clubs in my bag. I may be able to use 5 different clubs on that shot. Every dollar that you have to save and accumulate, you may be able to legitimately put in 5 different places. Maybe it makes the most sense to be tax deferred. Maybe it makes the most sense to be tax free. Maybe it makes the most sense to go on a 529. Maybe it makes the most sense to buy an equity. Maybe it makes the most sense to buy a bond. Right? You've got a lot of different choices. You just need to be aware of what they are. And the patron of ignorance is making sure that you're aware. That's why you have a caddy. Right? You're in the heat of the moment. You've got your own life. You've got your own shot to be able to shoot on the golf course. right? Your own ball, and your caddy's there to keep you calm, cool, and collective and to collaborate. Mr. Jones, where do you really want to hit the ball? Where are you trying to get to? Because your objectives and my objectives as individuals may be different. But as a fiduciary, it is our job to treat your money as if it were my money and we were in the same situation. I'm asking you the question, Todd, you're here today. Where does the ball need to go next? Because you may want to retire at 55. You may hate your job. You may never want to retire. I have no interest in separating from this position. And, as long as God lets me do this and communicate with you, I will probably be standing here or standing somewhere trying to help simplify the tax code. I understand there are many, many, many different choices, and people love that. And this world is going to do nothing but continue to offer you more and more choices. I also understand that we hate decisions, and that many times, especially as we age, we just resign ourselves to making the simplest decision. And in some cases, that's not accurate. I want to make sure that you're aware of all 14 clubs in your bag, that you understand how they work in your financial plan, so that we can go through a checklist looking at your unique situation and make sure that the choices that you're making with those dollars, when you're having to give up something today, when you're walking into that menu, and you're looking at those choices, when you're making that ultimate decision, that it's the best decision you can make with all of the information available, looking at not just today, but also at your future, at your journey, where it is you're going. We're going to look at it through the lens of the 5 critical elements: your life after work, the annual tax plan, your investment playbook, the life happens, the good and bad and ugly of life, and your legacy plan. Who gets it when you're gone, and who takes care of you when you can no longer take care of yourself? We need to look at life that way. Understand there's many different things you can do. Some will work better than others. Let's find what's right for you.